Hey guys, it's Sim, and this is Wrestling Unlimited. As it's Wednesday, almost at Friday for some reason, as it's Wednesday, and we're here talking about AEW Dynamite. I thought tonight's Dynamite was a really good show with a lot of good action, like really good matches on this show. Very easy to watch. It flew right by. I would say, overall, a good Dynamite. A really good Dynamite. Also, give me 1 second. For some reason, the YouTube live stream got posted as unlisted, so it's not sending out a notification. Let me see why that happened and how I can fix that. For some reason, it's listed as unlisted. Let's do this. Let's do this. Public. Now, hopefully, more people see the notification and jump in. Well, drats. All right, we'll roll forward. But with that, no, overall, a really good episode of AEW Dynamite, in my opinion. So with that, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I'd greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember to head over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button. That way you know when we go live, when we post new videos, and when we post in the community tab. Also, remember to head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming a free game or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, use this code, which didn't pop up. Use this code right here, PWU NLIMITED, for all Epic Games and Epic Game Store purchases. Heck, go buy the Prince of Persia: The Last Crown. Super fun game. Go get the free game, Disney Speedstorm. The Frozen season is about to wrap up, and on February 8th, their Little Mermaid season will begin. Also, remember to claim the free game, Love, from the Epic Game Store. And if you're getting Fortnite, Rocket League, or Fall Guys credits, well, again, use this code, PWU NLIMITED, for all Epic Games and Epic Game Store purchases. What? They added Raiden? They added Raiden to Fortnite. No, they did not. Oh, I'm going to need to check that out. I'm going to need to check that out. Hold on. I know you can unlock Snake. Oh, yeah. You get Raiden now, too. Well, that's freaking amazing. Is he in the... You have to pay for him. He's probably in the shop, not an unlockable, right? I don't know. Probably have to buy him in the shop. People are mad because he doesn't have his wide childbearing hips, as they say. But regardless, really, really cool. Remember, guys, we are also doing the PWU 2023 Year-End Awards. You can go vote right now, PWU or PWUunlimited.co/year-end23. Again, that's PWUunlimited.co/year-end23 to vote in the PW Unlimited Year-End Awards for 2023. The voting will be live for 2 weeks, and then we'll come on here. We'll do a big live stream revealing who won what award. We've got Event of the Year, Promotion of the Year, Booker of the Year, Match of the Year, Rookie of the Year, Breakout of the Year. See if I can remember all these. Breakout Wrestler of the Year. We got Faction of the Year, Tag Team of the Year. We've got Male Wrestler of the Year, Female Wrestler of the Year. I know I'm missing some. We've got Promo of the Year. We've got Feud of the Year. I'm missing two. I think I'm missing two. Hold on. I'll tell you right now. I can pull it up. Go vote in all the different categories. Hold on. It is Event of the year, promotion of the year, booker of the year, promo of the year, feud of the year, match of the year, announcer of the year, manager of the year. Those are the two I was forgetting. Breakout wrestler of the year, rookie of the year, faction of the year, tag team of the year, female wrestler of the year, and male wrestler of the year. So go vote in all of that. And then we'll come on here and we'll hang out and we'll talk about who were the big winners based off of your guys' voting. And also remember, this podcast is brought to you by Upscale Bling, but more about that later. As far as AEW Dynamite itself does go, pull up the notes here. The show opens up with our AEW World Champion, Samoa Joe. Joe makes his way out to the ring, and commentary talked about how Hook pushed him to his limit last week. And I'm like, did he really? Did he really? Hook stood well against Joe. Hook didn't just get squashed. Like, he got squashed, but not super squashed. But I wouldn't say he took Joe to his limit. I would say he pissed Joe off quite a bit, but that's about it. Joe gets in the ring and tells the crowd he stands before them as the undeniable AEW World Champion, and no longer will title opportunities be given. Instead, they'll be earned. So Joe said, earned because of the new ranking system, or the brought back ranking system. Joe says that anyone who earns a title match against him will suffer the same fate that Hook did last week. Choked, unconscious, and everything taken from them. All of a sudden, Hook's music hits, and then we gotta look up to see his bat signal. And so Hook gets in the ring and says, last week he lost and Joe won. He shook Joe's hand, pulled in close, and he goes, I don't know when, I don't know where, but sometime, someplace, I will find my way back to you. The crowd didn't seem to really hear the line, which is weird because we heard it perfectly fine, like he said it into the mic, and the crowd really didn't react. And then Joe said, Hook, you can go to the back of the line, and then told security to get him out of there. Like, Joe didn't even want to worry about Hook. He said, security, get him. David Valentine, no, that is never going to happen at all. Also, remember, guys, to get your comment, question, or concern read live on the air, you can donate a super chat in the YouTube live chat, or you could donate Twitch bits in the Twitch chat, and that will make sure we do read your comment on the air. Anyways, so Hook fights the security, chokes one of them out with the red rum, and there we go. Joe then joins commentary as the first match of the night was Hangman Adam Page against Penta El Zero Miedo. After both men trash talk one another, an all-out slugfest ensued before each traded big boots until a series of sling blades allowed Penta to win the exchange. Penta battled back with a fall-away slam and a running shooting star press. He opted to stare down Joe at one point, basically telling Joe, I want your belt. I want your belt. He said, where's my belt? I don't even know where it is. It's usually right here. Anyways. The distraction there, though, allowed Hangman to take control for a little bit, but then Penta did recover with the bounce back leg drop off the top rope. Excalibur was running down the card for the night as Joe told him to shut up so he can hear the echo of Penta's chops on Page's chest. Both traded clotheslines and super kicks before colliding with a double clothesline to take each other out in a picture-in-picture break. During said break, both men fought on the outside right in front of Joe before Page once again stared him down. Back from the break, Penta dodged a slingshot. Page did a dive and connected on a somersault dive to the floor. Back inside, Penta wanted a double stomp, but rolled through into a Death Valley driver by Page for a 2. Another 10 corner punches in the corner. Page then bit Penta, and they're like, have we ever seen this before? Have we seen Hangman bite people? And then Excalibur asked that. I think Shivani was like, well, you know, ever since that feud with Swerve, Hangman's been getting a lot more aggressive and unpredictable. So he bites Penta, and it fires him up. And he hits a couple thrust kicks and a spinning Death Valley driver for a near fall. Penta does. Penta then wanted to snap the arm, and Joe once again called for silence on commentary as Page fought it off and hit a sit-out Liger bomb. Both men fought to the apron, where a Fear Factor and a Deadeye attempt were avoided by each, as Penta then sent Paige then sent Penta back inside the ring. He tried to go for the buckshot, only for Penta to counter into a Made in Japan for a very close 2. Very close 2. Penta wanted a springing destroyer on the apron, but Paige reversed it into a deadeye and followed it up with the moonsault to the floor. Penta ducked a buckshot back inside, so Paige leveled him with the standard lariat before hitting the proper buckshot and picking up the victory. So there we go. Hangman Adam Page does get the win, and I think that puts him rankings-wise, which they got the rankings on the screen for the entrance, but unless I missed something on social media today, I haven't seen any actual rankings get posted. Like, have they posted any actual rankings? I haven't seen any. I'm looking. But Hangman did say later he's 3-0 so far in 2024. But, excuse me, yeah, I don't see, and I got to keep scrolling. I don't see any actual rankings that were posted. Again, unless I just missed them today. Yeah, nope. Nothing posted today as far as rankings go. So go to the back of Renee Paquette's with Orange Cassidy, and this just felt very awkward and weird. Like they didn't know fully what they were supposed to be doing. Give me 1 second. My notes froze. Okay. So this felt very weird. And this felt like it just came off like they didn't really know what they were supposed to be doing in the segment. And so they were just like saying things. They kind of knew but didn't know. Also, David, please stop. No false information in the chat. That's not true. So basically, she asked him about Roderick Strong wanting to challenge him at Revolution for the International Championship. And he goes, yeah, that's cool. That's 6 weeks away. And I want to defend my title before that. I can't wait. So I talked to Tony Khan. And I got some friends. And I got some enemies. And they're going to all come together for a match on Rampage. And then I guess I'll just challenge the winner on Collision Saturday. Maybe. Sure. Yeah. And Cassidy kind of just stood there awkwardly. And then he just goes, oh, hey, Renee, I guess I got to leave. You know, Trent, he's facing Wardlow next. And, you know, you've seen Wardlow. And Paquette's like, yeah, that's a lot of meat. And then Cassidy goes, it is. And then walks off. I don't know what this was other than just saying, hey, we got a match on Rampage that's going to lead to a title match on Collision. At least it's a number one contenders match. And it's not just like, hey, random so-and-so is going to fight me for the belt. At least they're doing a number one contenders match. I can at least say thank you for that. Because Tony a lot of times likes to just be all, hey, we're just going to have this match for this title. Just like tonight. The frickin' Mogul Embassy lose the ROH Trios Championships or 6-man tag titles for 4 days later to get a 6-man or a Trios title shot on AEW television. They go, what? Yeah, this is stupid. This was dumb. Made no sense. Anyways, another dumb segment. The Young Bucks are backstage. They're shown just barely arriving to the building, wearing their suits. And all of a sudden, Alex Marvez, I forgot he still works for this company, shows up. He goes, Matt, Nick, the Young Bucks, I have some questions for you based off of your interview last week. It's really got people talking. Marvez asked what their first plan was as executives. And I'm like, what? Their first plans as executives? Haven't they been executives since the company started? And then Nick goes, excuse me, please call us by our passport names, Nicholas and Matthew Jackson. Matthew said, and this was an interesting line, the last 2 surviving EVPs. So we know Cody's gone. So there's 1 down, 3 still left. What does that mean for Kenny? What does that actually mean for Kenny when they said the last 2 surviving EVPs? Are they under the impression that this diverticulitis has got Kenny Omega retired, gone, banana good, but boo. I don't know what I just said there. Like, split out. I don't know what that really meant. I'm gonna send out a tweet, see if I get a response. I'm gonna send out a tweet here, and I'm gonna say Matthew Jackson called himself and Nicholas, quote, the last two, spelled Nicholas wrong, remaining, or surviving, actually, surviving EVPs tonight on hashtag AEW Dynamite. Now we know Cody is gone in WWE, yet was this a reference to Kenny not returning or something? Could I just be looking too much into the line? All right, let's see if I get a response. We'll check back on this tweet later in the show, the podcast. So I tweeted out, Matthew Jackson called himself and Nicholas, quote, the last two surviving EVPs tonight on AEW Dynamite. Now, we know, comma there. Now, we know Cody is gone in WWE, yet was this a reference to Kenny not returning or something? Could I just be looking too much into this? Could I be looking too much into this? All right, we'll see if I get a response on that. Because that's an interesting one. That's a very interesting line to say. We're the last two surviving EVPs. Now, he says, ever since our promo last week, our interview, we've heard that morale is through the roof, and catering is also a big hit. Their jobs are for things to run smoothly, and then they run into Top Flight and say, you just arriving to the arena? Dante and Darius said, no, we've been here since call time and won. Matthew goes, well, then why aren't you in your gear? And where are your credentials? Nicholas said, you know what? Next time you're not ready, we're gonna fine you. And then they laugh and they fist bump them and go, They're like, what? They said something about you hired us or something. I don't even know. And then they're like, you guys are killing it. It's all good. It's all good. And commentary talked about how hypocritical this was, yelling at them for not being ready when the Bucks just literally showed up to the building. I don't know what the crap this is supposed to be, but it's kind of dumb. Then Saturday says, well, credentials are important. Yeah. But it's like, yeah, never mind. I'm not even going to try to explain that one and how dumb that line was. Then we get Wardlow versus Trent Beretta. And I guess since Wardlow returned, this is the longest match he's done, I guess you could say. So Wardlow had Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Matt Taven, and Mike Bennett, the entire Undisputed Kingdom out there, where Trent had Chuck Taylor, Orange Cassidy, and Rocky Romero in his corner. Like, just tell us Rocky's signed by now. Like, did they really? Rocky's on, like, every show now. Rocky's there every week. He might as well just be signed. Wardlow mowed down Beretta with a shoulder tackle right at the bell, and then gave him a massive F5 to follow. Wardlow wanted a powerbomb, but Beretta crumbled, playing possum, getting a small package for a 2. Beretta low-bridged Wardlow to the floor, and Beretta followed this up with multiple baseball slides, only to be swatted out of midair during a slingshot dive attempt. Wardlow dismantled Beretta during the break, but when things returned, Beretta mounted a comeback, dodging a roundhouse lariat, hitting a big knee. Wardlow spilled outside, and Beretta hit a dive through the ropes before cracking Wardlow in the back with a chair. Referee Rick Knox was arguing with the Undisputed Kingdom, and then back inside, Beretta hit a DDT and a pile driver for a 2. Beretta wanted a crossbody, but Wardlow caught him in midair and hit a spinning power slam. Wardlow then placed Beretta on the top rope and hit a stalling lifting knee before delivering a violent stalling last ride powerbomb to pick up the victory. Post-match, Wardlow went to inflict more damage, but was called off by Adam Cole and company. Beretta then shoved Cassidy away for trying to help him up, which, okay, I don't know what that's leading to. He looked very frustrated, and then Beretta ultimately cooled down and apologized to Orange. I don't know what that's leading to, but that's not for nothing. They're not doing that for nothing. He's not shoving Orange Cassidy for nothing. Unless they're going to play it up where he's like, I'm sorry, I didn't realize it was you. So unless they play that up, I don't know. Also, Jonathan, you know the Young Bucks are not the one making the decisions on who wins and loses the matches. That's Tony Khan. But I also do see that happening. Like, I really see that happening. Because if that doesn't happen, then what are they going to do? Just vacate the titles and then what? Do a tournament to crown new champs? Anyways. So then we get a weird segment. I mean, not weird, but it was... it was all right. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't bad. Renee Paquette interviewed both Toni Storm and Deonna Purrazzo on the stage. So, Renee Paquette is on the stage and welcomes both Deonna Purrazzo and Timeless Toni Storm. Tony also came out with Luther and Mariah May. And so every time a camera would focus on Tony, black and white. Deonna, in color. Paquette said that this has been brewing for weeks. And tries to ask Purrazzo a question, but Storm interrupts and says that she'll talk first, saying she has a massage booked at 11 o'clock. Like, who books a massage at 11? And I bet you that actually sounds like, now that I think about this, that sounds like it was a dig at Trish Stratus. So remember when Trish said something about, I got a doctor's appointment, and then commentary's like, who's got a doctor's appointment like 9, 10 o'clock at night or something like that? Or I forget exactly what it was, but she did something to where she couldn't actually do whatever with Becky because she had an appointment. I think this was a dig at that. Anyways, again, AEW not being able to be original. Storm said that she believes Purrazzo was recently body shamed, which is ridiculous because there's there's so much more to shame about her. Storm said they do have history, but that doesn't mean their past friendship allows Purrazzo just to waltz in and get a title shot. Storm said that Purrazzo might be the best technical wrestler in the world, but if she steps in the ring with Storm, she'll twist her hips and she'll need an epidural. Purrazzo said, this is insane. I didn't come to AEW to make friends. I came here to be the champion. Purrazzo has no problem earning a title shot, but this version of Toni Storm, well, it isn't who she wants to wrestle. Not this sham of a person. But Storm, who moved here from Japan and lived in her house, the best in the world, that is who she wants to face. Purrazzo begs Storm to find that version of herself, and if she can't, look down at her ankle. You see that they both have matching chicken tattoos, as Purrazzo and Storm might have the world fooled, but not. Purrazzo says Storm may have the world fooled, but not her. Both ladies took turns throwing shoes at one another before May saved Storm from getting put into a submission. Purrazzo then charged at May, who dodged, and Luther ate a pump kick. May and Storm bailed. Purrazzo held up the title. If this gets Toni Storm off the timeless gimmick, then cool. But it's just, I can't get into this I'm going to be honest. I can't get into any of the Toni Storm stuff when she's doing this sometimes entertaining, but most of the time, at least for me, not entertaining gimmick. Like, there's times when it's funny. Like, I always crack up when she says, Sir Anthony Khan. Like, that always gets me. But most of the time, it's just like, I think they're taking it a little too far. And it's just a little too over the top. Jon Moxley's backstage. He said the Blackpool Combat Club has won a lot of matches and titles since forming. But the amount of victory parties that they've had, well, that's zero. They don't spend time patting each other on the back. There's always threats right around the corner. That's what it takes to be the best, to be elite, something. Some people have come to AEW and failed to realize. He said in 2024, he is going to pulverize and torture anyone who can't get with the program and keep up with him in the ring. Moxley said that this Friday, he'll cut his heart out and bleed if he has to for the fans that for the fans to pay to see the best wrestling in the world. Moxley will do it every single night. We're then told that Moxley will face Lee Moriarty this week on Rampage. Moving forward. No, they were not. Someone just sent me something. There's an article about how it says 2 former WWE stars get repackaged on AEW television. Well, first I was talking about Taya and Johnny, and they didn't get repackaged. They just got put together. I don't know why that's repackaged. They're still the same characters, just now together. How they always should have been in AEW. Like, should have been in WWE. It should have been Taya with Miz and Morrison in WWE. Screw that Frankie Monet stuff that she was doing in NXT. She did not need to be in NXT. She was main roster ready from the day they signed her, and they fumbled that bag. Her and John Morrison on AEW television would have been a massive success. They could have literally, and I've said this before, the story was right there. They bring Taya in. Johnny is now more focused on Taya. Miz gets jealous, and that leads to a John Morrison and Miz feud. There you go. It's plain and simple. Then you bring Maurice in, and you do Maurice and Miz versus Johnny and Taya. That would have been so much fun. The back and forth between those 4 would have been amazing. And WWE, again, like I said, fumbled the bag, putting her in NXT. She did not need to go to NXT. Whether you call her Taya Valkyrie or Frankie Monet, she was ready for that main roster day 1. Anyways, speaking of Taya and Johnny, you go to the back, and Taya Valkyrie and Johnny TV are backstage, and they're like, in case you forgot about us, let me reintroduce us to you. We're the most TV-ready couple in all of AEW. Valkyrie says she is pissed off that Deonna Purrazzo, someone she knows very well, is trying to cut the front of the line. And Johnny said, no butts, no cuts, no coconuts. Valkyrie then challenged Purrazzo to a match next week on AEW Dynamite. She basically said, if I win, you go to the back of the line. So unfortunately, looks like Taya is just a job person in AEW. Then we get an awesome match. Awesome match. First Strickland versus Jeff Hardy. And the match itself, built. This did what most matches don't. It built off of itself. Started slow, then started to do a little more, then started to do a little more, and then bang, right when it needed a bang, as DDP would say. Bang! Anyways. For dueling chants at the start of this match, as Strickland tried a series of pinfall attempts to start the match off. Hardy took his chain off and gave it to his brother before getting a pin attempt on Strickland, only this time having a handful of tights. I think the Hardys are going heel. Strickland was caught off guard by the cheating as he drove Hardy down with a backbreaker. He wanted to snap the arm of Hardy, but Matt ran distraction, allowing his brother to regain control. Hardy folded Strickland up with the pin attempt, but was then sent to the apron, where Strickland swept the leg and hit a slingshot double stomp. Strickland then set up Hardy on a chair, mocked the Hardy dance. Excuse me. Trying not to burp in your ears. Mocked the Hardy dance, but took too long as Hardy swept the leg. Hardy got a running start and a flying leg drop off the ring steps against the barricade, spilling to the front row. Strickland then regained control during a commercial break. As we come back from the break, both men fought in the corner, and Hardy took flight with a great-looking whisper in the wind. Let's say, Jeff did this a couple weeks ago, and it didn't look good. He did it tonight, and it was perfect. I will say, the Darby match that Jeff had was good. This was better. This is Jeff's best match in AEW. Hands down. So double down spot here off the whisper in the wind. Hardy caught Strickland with a spin kick and hit a sling blade variation to follow it up. There was a Manhattan drop and a double leg drop that hit Strickland right in the yam bags, as Taz would say. Hardy went to the ropes, but Strickland shoved him to the apron and then flung Hardy shoulder first into the post. Down on the floor, Hardy delivered a twist of fate on the steel steps before getting back in the ring. Hardy then missed a swanton. Strickland delivered the house call, but Hardy kicked out. Strickland mocked going for a twist of fate, but then Hardy got a few pin attempts in there, 3 jawbreakers that staggered Strickland into the ropes, as he lured Hardy into a rolling flatliner with a delayed suplex. Strickland went up top and hit the swerve stomp and then picked up the victory. So there we go. Swerve Strickland does beat Jeff Hardy in an awesome match. Also, I forgot to mention there was a spot where Swerve was up against the barricade on the outside. Jeff did the poetry in motion off the steps into Swerve's face, basically, and then Jeff went tumbling over the barricade. But yeah, no, this match was so fun, so good. I think I could say match of the night. I think I can say that with, yeah, I think I can say that. Match of the night. I think this was the best match overall. Because I'm trying to think if the Hangman match was better, but this was the better match. Hangman Penta was good, like near great, but this one was just a little tippy-top better. So we go to the back. Renee Paquette is backstage with Hangman Adam Page, congratulating him on his victory, saying that he is 3-0 in 2024. He has to be near the top of the rankings once they do finally get released. First, Strickland would then interrupt immediately and say, hey, I'm also undefeated. Asking, who's the last one to beat you, huh? Page said, quote, it's a new year. It's a new me, dumbass. The two argue. And they argue about who's going to be at the top of the rankings and whatnot. Paige then went to storm off. Renee goes, whoa, hold on. I got breaking news. Hold on. There's some breaking news. Next week, right here on Dynamite, we're going to have 2 dealer's choice matches where you guys will pick each other's opponents for the show. So, it's going to be Hangman versus Swerve's handpicked opponent, and it's going to be Swerve versus Hangman's handpicked opponent. We then get Thunder Rosa taking on Red Velvet. Now, this match did have a lot of it take place during the break. And then not only that, it felt clunky. It felt clunky, and the finish didn't look good at all. A little low point of the show, I will say that for sure. So I think this was the first time these two ever had a match. And they traded some arm drags early on, and then Thunder Rosa went to the apron. Red Velvet drove Rosa face first into the corner and swept the leg out. She stayed in control as we went to a break. After the break, Rosa battled back and continued to run wild with a double knee in the corner. Rosa followed with a charging low drop kick and a Northern Lights suplex for a 2. Velvet fought back with a series of strikes and a Cazadora into a double stomp. There was a running double knee into the ropes that led to Red Velvet trying a springboard bulldog, but Rosa avoided. It took way too long for her to hit her finisher, allowing Velvet to hit her with a backdrop. Rosa rolled through, hit a shotgun dropkick, and a Tejano bomb to pick up the victory. Again, this match did not really look that good at all. At all. After the match, Thunder Rosa looked into the camera and said, quote, when is my time, Tony Storm? And she couldn't remember Julia Hart's name, and then asked the cameraman, what's her name? And I'm like, wait, what? What? Was that intentional? Or did she really not remember Julia Hart's name? I don't know about that. And the camera cuts away to the Savannah Bananas baseball team sitting ringside before they continued. Yeah, this wasn't good. Because when is my time, Tony Storm? Or what's her name? Yeah, no. Not good at all. Goddamn Thunder Rosa. So now next is Sting and Darby Allin. So Shivani introduces them. Allin brought up the impact that Sting had on his career, and not just since he's been here in WWE, but since Sting was preemptively forced to retire in 2015. Allin said that Sting's influence and that happening to Sting really weighed a lot on him. He questioned if that could happen to him. He said, I've been doing a lot of interviews recently, and yeah, I get the question of, hey, when are you going to slow down so you don't retire before Sting retires? But I also get the question of, how great is it to team with Sting? And he says, I came to your home in Texas right before you came here to AEW, and you had a ring in your garage, and we trained for a bit. And I told you, you still got it. Then they cut to a quick shot of the Bucks watching backstage and kind of producing the segment on headsets. Allin said that he and Sting are undefeated and are 27-0. And with the rankings coming back, that's surely got to put them at the top. So they want to challenge Ricky Starks and Big Bill for the AEW Tag Team Championships. Allin told Sting once again, he's still got it, and asked if Sting wants to end his career as tag team champions. Sting soaked in Sting chants and simply said, "I'm in." So yeah, it looks like it's going to be Sting and Darby. So we do know in 2 weeks in Phoenix, Sting and Darby will challenge Ricky and Big Bill for the tag titles. I'm pretty sure they're winning. Like, I don't see them losing. But I do see them losing to the Young Bucks at Revolution, with the Young Bucks getting the belts back. We go to the back where the tag team champions are there, Ricky Starks and Big Bill. They're backstage, and they thank Sting and Darby for having respect enough to address them by name and actually challenge them for the titles. Bill said, as far as their challenge goes, yeah, it's accepted. Starks also said, it's fitting you challenging me and a partner for these tag titles, because if I remember correctly, Sting, your first match here in AEW was against me and a partner. But I'm just going to tell you right now, Sting, you ain't winning these belts and you're not making it to Revolution. So they did announce later on in the show, though, that Tony Khan did make it for in 2 weeks. Tag titles will be on the line. So then we had the Acclaimed in Daddy Ass defending the AEW World Tag Team Championships against Mogul Embassy. And like I said, why the hell would we get this match? Like, this match right here all just null and voids and defeats the purpose of rankings. You hyped up so many times. Rankings are coming back. Rankings are coming back. Okay. But, so are you saying that even though are you saying when you lose a championship, you can still stay as number one contender for different belts? And that's the other question we're going to have. How are these rankings going to work now with all the Ring of Honor belts? Are we going to have both AEW and Ring of Honor rankings? Are we going to have tag team and six-man rankings? How is that going to work? I always thought the rankings were not the best of ideas. Like, they could have been done well, but they weren't. And now they don't have dark and dark elevation to pad people's scores. Yet Cope is 4-0 in 2024. But against who? Yes, he beat Suzuki. But then who are the other guys he beat? Lee Moriarty, I think. Griff Garrison. And I can't even remember the other guy he beat. But I know he beat 3 people on Dynamite. And it's like, are those even like top of the card talent? Like, not only how many wins you get should matter, but the level of competition you're winning against should also matter. Because it was Dante Martin. Now that I remember, it was Dante Martin. But it's like, and nothing against Dante Martin. He's freaking great. But when you're Dante Martin and you're positioned here on the roster, compared to like, oh, I want to get up here to challenge Christian for the TNT title. A guy way down here should not have any merit as far as I defeated low-level guy. No offense, Dante Martin. You're a tag guy anyway, so in singles competition, what does it matter? Anyways, it's like I defeated a low-level guy. Now I want to challenge the champion. No, it shouldn't be how it works. It should be, A, how many people you beat, yes, but also B, again, the level of the competition and who you actually beat. As far as this match does go, we had the whole, I guess they call themselves Bang Bang Scissor Gang out there. And Switchblade, Jay White, and the Guns were at ringside, like I stated. Max Caster showed off his speed against Brian Cage early on, as Bowens made the fast tag, connecting with a series of forearms. Taz did bring up the injured lat of Brian Cage. Bowens opted to pose, resulting in Cage launching him into the Embassy's corner. Khan and Leona then took turns at dishing out some offense. Bowens tried to fight out, but Gunn and Caster were both pulled away before a tag could be made. Bowens charged off the apron at Cage, but Leona connected on a pounce that launched Bowens to the floor into a picture-in-picture. The Embassy controlled the entire break as Bowens made his comeback right when they returned from the break with a blockbuster on Cage. Bowens finally fought free, and Gunn made the hot tag, running wild with some punches. Leona cut Gunn off from trying a famouser on Cage as Bowens came right back in and planted him, and was planted with a Cage F5. Everyone then took turns delivering high-impact moves as Khan hit a pedigree on Gunn for a 2. Nana then threw a chair in the ring as the ref Aubrey Edwards was distracted by Khan. Nana then took the ref. Khan wound up, but Switchblade Jay White appeared and took the chair away. Gunn then hit the one and only on Khan as Nana was carried off by Austin and Colton and powerbombed through a table at ringside. White then watched on the stage as Cage was dropped from behind by Bowens' leg drop, a famous or an arrival, a mic drop combo connected, and gave Billy Gunn the win. Yeah, this all got very convoluted and confusing at the end. Like, so much was going on. As you can tell, my notes are not clear and concise because it wasn't clear and concise. So much was going on. It just got way too overbooked and convoluted at the end. And the match itself wasn't even all that great. It was just a standard, basic, I could take it or leave it match. Nothing special, and no one will remember it in the morning. I'm going to say that right now. Nobody will remember it in the morning. So then we got some stuff announced for the next week of AEW programming. Coming up this Friday on Rampage, we got Kip Sabian, Commander, The Butcher, and El Hijo del Vikingo fighting for a shot at the International Championship on Collision. John Moxley will be going one-on-one with Lee Moriarty. Kunosuke Takeshita will be taking on Christopher Daniels, and Ruby Soho will take on Anna Jay. This weekend on AEW Collision, Saturday night, head-to-head with the Royal Rumble, FTR and Daniel Garcia will take on the House of Black, Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews in a 6-man Escape the Cage elimination match. Bryan Danielson takes on Yuji Nagata, which, whoa, where'd that come from? Great, though. And Orange Cassidy defends the International Championship with the winner of the 4-way from Rampage. Finally, Serena Deeb returns to action for the first time since 2022, and Mariah May will take on Lady Frost. As far as next week on AEW Dynamite, this Deonna Purrazzo will be taking on Taya Valkyrie. Also, we have Strickland and Hangman and Page in opposing Dealer's Choice matches. Finally, in 2 weeks on AEW Dynamite in Phoenix, Arizona, Ricky Starks and Big Bill will defend the AEW Tag Team Championships against Sting and Darby Allin. If I said WWE, I apologize. So, all that announced for the next week or so of AEW programming. Then, it's 5 minutes to the top of the hour, and they tell us this next match is going to go as long as it needs to go. We've been given an overrun. And we frickin' get. I guess they called this part of the Cope Open. Adam Copeland versus Minoru Suzuki. And I loved it. I think it was Shivani on commentary that said, no, maybe next Excalibur. This is a match that you can't actually call a dream match because this is the type of match that fans would have never thought would be possible, so they would have never dreamt of it and actually asked for it. But now that we're getting it, oh my God. So, as far as this match does go, both men wasted no time slugging it out with forearms and strikes early on, and it was actually Copeland to first crumble. So, he switched to chops. There was a misdirect from Suzuki that led to another violent forearm, and it dropped Copeland yet again. Suzuki wanted the Gotch pile driver, but Copeland backed out. Suzuki then suckered Cope into the ropes for an arm breaker attempt, but Cope fought free. He hit a big boot, tried to go for a spear, but Suzuki sidestepped him into a guillotine to the floor. Cope then charged, and both broke through the barricade into the crowd. Referee Bryce Regensburg got to 9, and then both dove in to break the count. Suzuki then rose with a smile on his face as there were more forearm chops that were thrown by each man, and then some knees as well. As they rose to their feet, the forearms continued before Suzuki switched and started slapping Cope. Eventually, both connected with the same kind of moves, and then they eventually both crumbled. Suzuki then rose first yet again and lit up Copeland with an open hand strike before trying an armbar, which Cope spun out of into an impaler DDT. There were dueling chants for both men from the crowd as Copeland wanted to go for a spear, but ran into a Fujiwara armbar instead. Copeland then got the ropes as Suzuki wanted a rear naked choke, but Cope shook him off and hit a spear for a 2. Copeland then couldn't believe it. Suzuki rose up like the Undertaker and sank in that rear naked choke. Copeland was starting to fade. Commentary was worried. They said, is this going to be the first loss of the Cope Open? As Copeland, though, drove Suzuki face first into the corner. Copeland delivered a kill switch and then got the victory. Very interesting that he got the win with the kill switch. Not a spear, not an execution, kill switch. They also showed Christian watching on a monitor backstage, and he looked disgusted that Cope won. Copeland post-match then got the microphone and said that he's never been hit that hard before in his life, and he offered a handshake to Suzuki, showing respect. Suzuki just kind of growled at him and walked off. Copeland said he wouldn't be a little disappointed had Suzuki actually shook his hand, or he would have been disappointed. He said this was a war, and then told Christian, I'm still working my way back to you. So yeah, great match. Went uninterrupted with no commercials. Went 10 minutes. Went 5 minutes past the top of the hour. And I loved it. I thought this was exactly what it needed to be. No more, no less. It was perfectly booked. I felt like this match was damn near perfectly booked. Now you want more Cope? Well, they haven't announced him for Collision, but he will be on next Tuesday's episode of Percy Jackson and the Olympians on Disney+. He showed up 2 episodes ago, episode 5. He's Ares, the god of war. He then showed up at the very end of this week's episode last night, Tuesday, last night's episode. He showed up at the very end, and next week, he's going to battle Percy. They're going to have a sword fight, him and Percy. Because we know now who stole the lightning. Who stole Zeus's lightning? Because Kronos, if you guys haven't watched it, sorry for the spoiler, but we know, yet, well, Copeland, Ares, he wants it. Also, shout out to Adam Copeland, as he now has his own display in Epcot at Disney World. They are actually displaying his outfit from the show in a big display for the Percy Jackson show in Epcot. But there is a box of his outfit, his Ares outfit from the show, and a picture of him. And it says, Ares, played by Adam Copeland. So cool. I haven't seen it myself because I've never been to Disney World, but I've seen the pictures of it and stuff. So, but yeah. All right, we're gonna ban this person in the live chat if it'll let me, because we don't need to be talking like that. There we go. So with that though, overall, really good episode of AEW Dynamite. I thoroughly enjoyed most of this show. Can't say I enjoyed everything, but I did enjoy most of this show. Now let's hear a word from our sponsor, Upscale Bling, before we get into all the polls and whatnot. Are you looking to up your accessory game? Why not do so with Upscale Bling? Upscale Bling is your source for in-style chains, watches, rings, and many more awesome products to level up your wardrobe. Not only are their products high quality, but they're also affordable. Don't take just my word for it. Go check them out right now at blingupscale.com. Head over to blingupscale.com right now and use code PW Unlimited at checkout to get 20% off your entire order. Again, that's code PW Unlimited at checkout for 20% off at blingupscale.com. Check it out today. So with that, as far as the polls do go, Twitch poll is live. Go vote if you're watching on Twitch. Let's check the X poll first. We'll check that X poll. X poll states 57% liked the show, 23% thought it was just all right, and 19% didn't like it. As far as the YouTube community poll, 59% liked the show, 19% thought it was just all right, and 22% didn't like it. Of the comments here, this person has a sleeping emoji saying that the show put him to sleep. Person calls it 9 out of 10. Person says 8 out of 10. Person says, where TF is Britt Baker? I believe she's injured. That's the last I heard. And Tony even said at the World's End press conference, he goes, we have a number of people injured, like and Britt Baker. I can't remember the others that he's mentioned. This person is getting worse and worse every week. This person says mid. As far as the live poll does go. Okay, I had it. The live poll disappeared. There it is. 60% liked the show, 30% thought it was just all right, and 8% did not like it. Looking over at the Twitch poll, everybody that voted liked the show 100%. With that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, App Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. We'll be back on Friday morning for the wrestling wrap-up, because we know there's a lot of news to talk about from this week in pro wrestling, and there's probably going to be more over the next couple of days leading into the Royal Rumble. Luke may be joining me for the wrap-up on Friday, and then we've got the go-home show for the Rumble, SmackDown on Friday evening, and then we got the Royal Rumble this Saturday. So with that, guys, we'll see you back here live on Friday and Saturday. Have a good one, and we'll see you next time.